Hey guys, magandang umaga. Naririnig niyo ba ako? Narinig ba ako?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Maraming salamat sa pagpunta ngayong department seminar kahit sobrang aga, no? So, thank you sa paggising ng maaga at saka sa interest ninyo dito sa ating department seminar for ang topic natin is GNSS applications for SDGs. So, konting trivia lang dahil I think last 2012, nagsimula itong department seminars ng department natin, Department of Geodetic Engineering. So, ngayon, this 2022, we are celebrating 10th year netong department seminar series natin. And this is the first department seminar na gagawin natin for the year 2022. And in line with the celebration of the 10 years of this department seminar series, we are also celebrating yung pagkapanalo ng undergraduate and alumni teams ng ating Department of Geodetic Engineering in the recent ASEAN series or ASEAN GNSS Asia Hackathon last November 2021. So, our main presenters today are the Team PISDA and Team Ligtas, who, as I mentioned, na-awardan, no, ng, they were identified as one of the top ideas for the GNSS Asia Hackathon. So, particularly yung Team PISDA, they won the the Galileo Hackathon in the Philippines, organized by PILSA. They won the second place, and Team Ligtas, they won second place also for the Open ASEAN Galileo Hackathon in Southeast Asia. So, lahat ng Southeast Asian participants. So, without further ado, we will start our department seminar with Team PISDA, or Position Inspector and Sensor Dependent Fishing Assistant. So, this will be presented by Ainalyn Nerves, Kim Aguilan, Tristan Dave Zablan, Dale Rivera, and Janelle Eliza Buenavista. So, are you ready, everyone? Are you ready, Team Pisda? So, you can take the floor and share screen.
So we're ready. Now.
Yes, pwede na kayo mag-share screen.
Good morning, everyone. We are Tumba, team of BS Geodetic Engineering students from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Our field involves geospatial information analysis and its applications to different industries. And this idea was presented in the Galileo Hackathon to address a maritime problem with the use of the Galileo satellite system. Hopefully, after this presentation, you'll know more about the Position Inspector and Sensor-Dependent Fishing Assistant, or in short, PISDA. Again, good morning, ka-satellites. Credits to Sir Lewis. Next slide, please. So here's our presentation's outline. We will start with Team PISDA, an introduction of our team, or Timba, and our journey throughout this competition, and lastly about PISDA itself. Next slide.
So, ayun, to start, papakilala ko muna yung Team PISDA. We are comprised of 5 members. First si Aguilan, Kim Elijah, and we have Buenavista Janelle, and you have me, Nervous Ainalyn, Rivera Princess Cadel, and our leader, our team leader, Zablan Kristan Dave. So, for the next slide.
So for our journey, our org's our organization, UP Society of Geodetic Engineering Majors, or UPJOP, external VP, Dale Rivera, as her initiative, presented a possible partnership with Philippines Space Agency, or PhilSA, / Galileo Hackathon. Initially, di namin pinansin masyado, but eventually I saw this Facebook post about the hackathon, kaya tinignan ko na rin yung primer na sinend ni Ms. Rivera, since wala akong magawa that time. Eventually, nahatak talaga interest ko, and I asked my org mates / friends kung interested sila mag-join. So ayun, persuade lang. Thankfully, nag-align naman ang interest namin and decided to pursue the contest. So after that, we planned to work on it sa reading break. Kaso dahil sa backlogs namin, di namin ito nasundan. Itong sked na to, I mean. Eventually, we saw some project titles na maganda. So we were somewhat discouraged. So yung mga kalaban namin, nagandahan kami sa mga like concepts na pinakita nila initially. So ayun, more stress creeps in kasi may exam sa susunod na week. But ayun, dahil bida-bida kami, we still push through kahit for experience lang talaga. Like,
So sa Galileo Hackathon, meron kasing iba-ibang categories na pwedeng salihan. So merong emergency applications, environmental challenges, maritime applications, tapos yung tourism and cultural heritage. So nag-isip kami ng different topics from different categories, but in the end, we chose the maritime challenge. So during the contest proper itself lang namin na finalize yung topic namin. And doon lang talaga kami nakapag-produce ng deliverables doon sa mismong araw ng contest. So technically, nag-cram lang talaga kami and nag-input and search kami ng mga alam namin about it. And thankfully, may mga mentors from Galileo na nagbigay ng kanilang comments and suggestions para mas mapaganda pa namin yung output namin. So, Dr. Ariel Blanco from Department of Geodetic Engineering ay isa dun sa mga mentors na yon, and we would like to thank him for helping us that day. So after cramming one whole day, syempre as a student, babalik na ulit kami sa ACADS, parang back to normal na ulit, ganun, after naming mapasa yung project namin. So ayun, gawa lang ulit kami ng ACADS and we were just waiting for the results. So nung awarding na, nung ipapresent na yung winners for the Galileo ASEAN, which is yung sinalihan nila Sir Dom and his team, and nung nalaman namin na nanalo sila, syempre sobrang proud namin sa kanila. Pero at the same time, mas lalo kaming kinabahan kasi the pressure is real. Syempre kakilala mo, tapos nanalo sila. So syempre, nag-wish ka na sana kami rin manalo, pero parang at the same time, hala, nanalo sila, so paano pa kaya kami? Ganun. Parang ang layo ng tingin namin dun sa gawa namin sa gawa nila. So nung sa Galileo Philippines na, kasi magkaiba kami ng category na sinalihan, we were just manifesting kahit third place lang sana. So nung hindi kami natawag for the third place, sabi namin, wala na to, ganun. So nawalan na kami ng pag-asa. So yun, nung nanalo kami, we were so shocked and hindi kami makapaniwala kasi sino ba naman kami, di ba? So yung prize na na-receive namin from Galileo is 1,000 euros. Tapos dahil 5 kami, naghati-hati lang kami doon. So bukod doon, kinontak kami ng PhilSA, ng Philippine State Agency, para bigyan rin kami ng mga merch nila, such as yung shirt, and then stickers, and then face mask na na-appreciate talaga namin. So yan, sabi nga nila, the devil works hard, but Team Pisda works harder.
So going on the technical side of our presentation, so our project, Position Inspector and Sensor Dependent Fishing Assistant, shortly named as PISDA, which aims to develop a low-cost solution for farming needs through buoy-mounted water quality parameter sensors and GNSS technology. Next slide, please. So yun nga, may 4 topics kami which are maritime tourism, environmental, and emergency. And we end up agreeing with the PISDA topic which falls under the maritime challenge. So some of you may not know, but the fisheries in the Philippines makes a significant contribution to the national economy in terms of income and employment, according to the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. However, fish production decreases due to the unfavorable water quality parameters such as temperature, pH level, oxygen, and etc. And as we know, the Philippine climate is characterized by relatively high temperature. Hence, it made a massive effect to the production of fish in the Philippines. Next slide, please.
So yun, upon researching, we also discovered na yung current water quality monitoring technology sa Philippines ay hindi pa masyadong inclined with geospatial applications. So that's why we introduced our project PISDA, which offers a solution that will integrate yung geospatial data para sa pag-test ng water parameters for real-time monitoring and tending of fishing areas sa Philippines. So PISDA is also known as the Position Inspector and Sensor Dependent Fishing Assistant, is an application that provides real-time position of water parcels that and also alerts, tracks, and displays anomalies in the water quality of fishing areas. It utilizes water buoys as a medium for sensing devices measuring qualities of the water, such as yung oxygen, yung pH level, water level, and then yung temperature. That is mounted with a GNSS receiver para makuha yung location ng mismong fishing area. So fish farmers can immediately tend to and regulate a specific parcel with critical water quality parameters. So, saan nga ba magiging helpful dito sa project namin, specifically yung Galileo? So, since Galileo is a global navigation satellite system that offers open access to precise positioning and timing, PISDA can utilize this data in providing the location of fishing spots para matrack and malaman if the water quality parameters are in critical level.
So sa project na to, paano naman makakatulong ang GNSS sa PISDA? So GNSS will be used in getting the position data of the buoy. The buoy consists of sensors that monitors the water quality. Additionally, this data will then be utilized to alert the user which fishing parcels are in need of extra attention and regulate the water quality suitable for fish breeding. Galileo, to be specific, provides down to 20-centimeter accuracy that will allow the users to use multiple buoys in large fish pens and increases the precision of the PISDA monitoring app. Next slide, please.
Okay, so specifically, why Galileo? So alam naman natin na may different satellite systems sa mundo, but what makes Galileo stand out? So these are just some of the differentiators ng Galileo na mas matututunan pa sa GE 168. Yan. So first is that Galileo services are open service and is free of charge. So yung mga data na makukuha natin is libre, which will make yung project cheaper. So kapag binili rin to ng mga may gusto sa kanila, parang mas magiging mura in comparison kapag gumamit tayo ng ibang data from ibang GNSS na may bayad. Ganun. So, next is that Galileo is also fully interoperable with other GNSS. Ibig sabihin na to, it can work hand in hand with other satellite systems that guarantees real-time operations. Another is that Galileo nga ay nagpaproduce ng free global high accuracy service. So kahit libre siya, hindi nako-compromise yung accuracy na nabibigay niya kasi nga it can have up to 20 centimeter accuracy. Lastly, it is resistant to multipath dahil sa kanyang antenna design. So if hindi niyo pa alam yung multipath, basically ito yung kapag yung signal from the satellite is hindi directly nasasagap ng receiver, instead nagbabounce muna siya sa ibang surfaces bago siya ma-receive ng antenna, resulting to a systematic error. So yung Galileo has a good antenna design na kaya niyang ma-reduce yung mga multipath errors.
So the competition calls for products and or services that are marketable. So this part shows the potential of our product, especially for fish farmers and the government. We have also prepared a method on how it will generate profit if ever the product is actually launched. And the customer segmentation pertains to where PISDA can be used in the market, such as our method, water salinity, species or produce, consumers, and location. So, bali, ano lang yan, ginroup lang namin yung PISDA into different categories. Next slide, please.
So again, mahalaga sa pag-produce ng project ay feasible siya in terms of gaining an income or may money. Syempre, di dapat tayo nalulugi. So for our project, according kay Guerrero, 145 million square meters daw ang freshwater pond sa Pilipinas. Note, freshwater pa lang to. Yung product namin ay nagkikater din sa seawater, such as mga seaweed farms din, and of course sa oceans na rin. Tapos, ang average fish pond size ay 300 square meter per pond. So may almost 500 ponds sa So may almost So may almost 500 ponds sa Pilipinas. So if yung price ng 3-sensor buoy is 5,000, so ang total addressable market ay aabot ng 2 billion. Exclusive pa to sa in-apps advertisement and subscription revenue.
So the project has 5 innovation factors. First, the product itself is a sensor-mounted buoy, and it is cost-effective water technology that enables smart fish farming in fishing industries across the world. Then, it also addresses the triple bottom line, which are the people, planet, and the profit, since it addresses maritime issues. At the same time, it has the paradigm to generate income while supporting sustainable fish farming with minimal cost. Next, please. So it is designed for sensors to work fittingly with attached GNSS to integrate special information together with its water quality parameters. And it is a free as much as possible. We want it to be a free application available real time and friendly users, since the users won't be as tech savvy as the programmers or the creators. Then it is the first ever technology in the Philippines with integrated smart tools, and it is economical as well time boost the maritime productivity in the country.
Next, we have the technology behind PISDA. So it uses water quality sensor-mounted buoys that will be registered to the app by the consumer, similar to smartwatch technology. The buoys use GNSS reflectometry for precise and continuous positioning horizontally and vertically. The buoys will have a specialized GNSS antenna to reduce multipath and other errors. Internet of Things or IoT technology will be utilized for the buoys to transmit data towards the app's database. For the pre-operation processes of PISDA, meron tayong tatlong stages. The first stage requires us to place the sensor-mounted PISDA buoys on water areas. Ideally, sa gitna ng mga fish pens at para sa mas malalaking fish farms, advisable na maglagay ng more than one buoys as to acquire good measurements. Since pag lumalayo tayo sa center ay lumalaki yung error. Next is and lastly, the registration of these buoys in the app, and lastly is the assignment of location-based identifiers for the fish ponds. Next slide. Yung basic framework ng PISDA starts with it recording water quality parameters such as oxygen and pH level and the temperature. If ang na-record ng sensor natin ay within the desirable range nitong mga parameters, it will simply display the current values. If not, magsisend to ng alert notification sa app. The first thing it will do is check whether the alerted pond or location is correct. Incorrect position requires troubleshooting. And after locating the pond that has a range beyond the desirable range, the fish farmer must regulate the water quality and wait for the next update.
Part of the deliverables dun sa competition ay mga mock-up designs. Ang cute, no? Actually, gawa ko yan. And credits kay Kim Aguilan for creating the logo. Kung mapansin nyo, mukha talagang buwi yung logo na mukha rin siyang isda. Makikita nyo yan later sa next slide na yung mock-up na ginawa ni Ainalyn Nerves. Next slide. Ito naman yung mock-up na ginawa ni Ainalyn. So, ayun. Pinattern namin siya na mumukha siyang isda na buwi stuff. Ayan. Ayun. Next slide. So as a summary, ito yung video na ginawa ni Dale Rivera.
Our project PISDA, or Position Inspector and Sensor-Dependent Fishing Assistant, is developing a low-cost smart fish farming application to help our fish farmers track anomalies in their fish pens by utilizing water buoys as a medium for sensing devices that measure qualities of fresh water, such as oxygen, pH level, and temperature, and mounted with a GNSS receiver to provide the real-time position of the water parcels.
Since the Philippines is rich on both fresh and seawater, there is a great potential to market their service to both the private sectors, which include individual aquaculturists and government agencies mandated to protect and regulate the fisheries industry. The product could market based on different segmentation, such as fish farm size, fishing location, fish species breeding. The product is open for distributors and companies located at the Philippines and other parts of Southeast Asia. Global Navigation Satellite System will be used in getting the position data of the buoy, which monitors the water quality. Additionally, this data will then be utilized to alert the user which fishing parcels are in need of extra attention and regulate the water quality suitable for fish breeding. Galileo, to be specific, provides down to 20 centimeter accuracy that will allow the user to use multiple buoys in large fish pens and increases the precision of the PISDA monitoring app. With PISDA, achieve high quality for a low cost. PISDA is the first ever technology used for farm fishing with integrated aforementioned smart tools. We are supporting sustainable fish farming with minimal cost.
Here are our references. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you learned something. So if you have questions, concerns, or comments, you can chat them in the chat box. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, Team PISDA, for your presentation. So, meron bang comments sa ating Team PISDA in our... You can chat your questions. So actually, no, yung yung project ni Dr. Lali Reyes has some similarities sa concept na to, but it has a different application. So if you are familiar dun sa coastal sea level rise project ni Ma'am Lali, no, ang ginagawa naman niya, their aim is to detect yung sea level rise nga. So ang tinitingnan dun yung elevations ng coast. So they also use the buoy system, tapos meron ka rin GNSS on board, yung mga ang tawag dito, small low cost GNSS receivers. Pero it's a nice presentation na nakita tayo ng another approach dun sa same concept. No? Meron kang ibang application na kung saan pwede mo pa siyang magamit. So aside from the GNSS sensor na naka-identify easily on kung asan yung anomaly, nandoon din yung iba't ibang water quality sensors na naka-install sa buoy ninyo. So kudos to your team and congratulations. Are there any questions from the crowd? Or do you plan on realizing yung inyong project or probably approaching a government agency na maaaring mangailangan nito?
As of now, sir, wala pa naman po kaming like specific plan kung gusto namin ma-realize yung project na to. Medyo, for now po, studies muna yung focus namin. Or maybe in the future. hopefully walang di makuha agad yung hindi siya di ma-realize agad ng competitors or something.
Ayan, nabanggit nga ni Sir Jack, we have colleagues here from the fisheries industry. So probably they are interested sa inyong naisip na idea or project. So probably they are open for collaborations. So if you have questions, you can direct them to Team Pisda. So thank you again for your presentation. So okay. Wait lang. So the department would like to present this certificate of recognition sa ating mga speakers, kay Ainalyn Nerves for sharing his or her experience and ideas in the department seminar GNSS application for SDG as a speaker given this 23rd of February at College of Engineering, UP Diliman, Quezon City, signed by Sir Jack Sarmiento, the chairman. So, bigyan din of course si Kim Elijah Aguilan, Kristen Dave Zablan, Francesca de Rivera, and Janelle Eliza Buenavista. So, thank you. And if you don't have any questions, we will move on to the next presenter. So, ang next team naman na magpe-present ay ang Team Ligtas or the Location Integrated Geological Hazard Tracking and Action System by Dominic Fargas Jr., Gilson Andre Narciso, Keith Ann Cabello, John Emmanuel Escoto, Pandilio Laarni Hilario, Pamela Todok, and Gwyneth Angelica Rufino. So, Team Ligtas, take it away. You can now share your screen.
Hello. So, good morning, everyone. We are Team Ligtas. I would like to introduce our team. We are a group of geodetic engineering graduates from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Our proposed project in the Galileo Hackathon by GNSS Asia 2021 in the ASEAN category is entitled Location Integrated Geological Hazard Tracking and Action System, or Project Ligtas. Okay, next slide, please. So we will be discussing with you today the hackathon, the project, our project framework, the mobile application, and the dashboard. And also we will be having a demo of the project as well as an AVP to show you guys more about it. Yeah, next slide, please. So the hackathon's main objective was to encourage the participants to develop hands-on solutions that directly benefit everyday people in the country, right? So the solutions now should revolve around the 4 challenges, namely emergency applications, environmental challenges, maritime applications, and tourism and cultural heritage. Tapos the 3 competitions is either within the Philippines, Thailand, or yung Open ASEAN category. Our team naman decided to join the Open ASEAN competition and tried to address our solution to emergency applications because we wanted to make a difference and we wanted to apply what we have learned in the university in real life situations so we can put our learning to practical use. The next slide, please. And
hello, good morning. So about Project Ligtas, dinig ba ako? Sorry.
yes, dinig po.
Okay. So about Project Ligtas naman, actually it was just parang pop of the mind lang na idea kasi the ASEAN hackathon was mainly focused on DRRM, but aside from that, meron din silang other categories such as tourism and industries and economics. So we've chose the DRM category. So yung ligtas naman is just yun lang, parang sudden idea lang siya. So next slide please. Yung ligtas is composed of two systems. So we have the Ligtas mobile application and the Ligtas dashboard. Ang target audience nito for the Ligtas mobile application is the local government units, disaster risk and rescue management agencies, and the citizens. While the Ligtas dashboard is mainly targets those who are on the rescuing side. So the local government units, responders, and DRM agencies. Next slide. As for the Ligtas architecture, we have three main components of the architecture. Next. So this one is the so for the three components of the Ligtas architecture, we have the mobile application. The secondly is the API, or the midware of the whole system, and we have the dashboard. So the main goal of the first, for the mobile application, the main goal is for the users to be able to send SOS reports and to be able to receive early warning systems from responders, from the DRM units, while the dashboard should provide map visualization of SOS reports, of early warning systems sa mga affected areas ng mga existing disasters, existing typhoons. Before dyan muna. So yun yung dalawang application talaga, and the API connects these two systems. So nangyayari, yung API natin allows communication between the users and the responders. By the users, we mean those people na in times of disasters, sila yung nagiging affected. So as you can see dito sa Ligtas architecture na to, yung mobile application natin dito sa left side, it has different functionalities, such as user registration, the manual SOS support, and aside from that, we have automatic SOS reporting module. So this uses the ESA, or anong tawag? Basta dun sa hackathon kasi, they provided technologies that we could use for our system na specific to the Galileo satellite constellation. And yung Galileo at satellite constellation, they have SMS services, that not necessarily SMS services, but rather para siyang SOS texting services or beacon in some way to help send SOS reports, parang ganun. So we tried to integrate those technologies in the Ligtas architecture. And sa dito naman sa nasa responder side, yung sa dashboard, meron din silang another technology sa Galileo constellation, in which the system could send early warning messages to the users. Yung early warning messages nila is sent through coursed through their satellite. So bale, unlike the SMS platforms that we have, yung parang in-advertise nila na capability ng Galileo is dinadaan sa satellite yung text message, yung information through satellite signals. And ang naging advantage doon accordingly is hindi siya na affected ng loss of signals in some way. So ayun. So for the next slide, so this shows a more detailed flow kung paano yung transfer ng data across the system. So as you can see, the Ligtas API is the middleware, while the other two, the mobile application, is on the left side. Some of these are just parang standard na features ng mga mobile applications and dashboard, but I think yung most important dito ay yung EWMS, yung custom SOS report, tsaka yung RRS. Yung EWMS and RRS, these are amongst the technologies of the Galileo satellite constellations that they were advertising during the hackathon. So what's unique about their technology is, again, they're trying to communicate, they're trying to provide a communication platform without using the SMS platform. Bale, para siyang satellite signals, gumagamit siya ng satellite signals to be able to transfer information between users ng Galileo satellite constellation. And next.
Hello? Rinig ba ako?
Yes, ma'am.
So, punta naman tayo sa kung anong itsura nung diniscuss ni Gilson for users, no? So, yung front end. Next slide, please. So, sa mobile application, no? So, may 3 main functionalities. Registration, SOS report feature, and automatic SOS report feature. So, baka nakita nyo na to kanina dun sa data architecture na sa previous slides. No? So, ganito yung magiging itsura niya sa mobile app. So, sa registration, isa-store sa database yung registered na user. Nakita nyo kanina na pwedeng either email or through SNS, Facebook. And so, sa SOS report feature, allowed yung user na mag-report ng emergency sa kung nasaan siya. So, para siyang ayun, pwede ka mag-report yung location mo, kung ano yung emergency mo, and additional details, no? So, kumbaga sa phone, manghihingi ng permission para sa access sa SMS mo and location for that feature. As for this automatic SOS feature naman, instead na manually mong i-report, kapag naka-receive ka ng early warning message from the dashboard, which I might discuss later, automatic na magre-report ng emergency yung app sa location mo. So, itong feature na to, mag-activate siya kapag yung status mo ay at risk, affected, or severely affected, either of the three. Yun. So yung feature, yung SOS report sa automatic SOS report, ma-receive siya ng authorities na may hawak ng dashboard. So ang users nito ay yung everyday citizens. So saan naman mapupunta yung mga reports na yan at yung mga users, database ng users, and so on. Next slide, please. Ayan. So ito yung general pala. So yung general flow kung paano gamitin yung app in theory. No? So pin your location, choose, report, and track. So in a sense, mukha siyang your typical delivery app. Kumbaga, kasi pwede mo ipin yung location mo and so on. Tapos, natatrack mo kung nasa na yung tulong na papunta sa'yo. Next slide, please. So, ayun. So, kung yung mobile app na, yung mobile app ay for the general public, no, or everyday citizens, sa dashboard naman, next slide, please. Ang dashboard ay ang gumagamit ay ang LGU, disaster risk management authorities, or kung sino man ang assigned. Either of the two or someone else. Depende yun sa LGU. Okay. So, ang main functionalities ng dashboard ay, ang dashboard ay web app. No? So, kung kanina mobile app yun for ito ay web app. So yung two main functionalities niya ay spatial visualization for reports and location-based text blasting, no? So spatial visualization, makikita agad ng LGU or ng authorities yung kung saan yung mga reports ng emergencies para mas effective yung pag-distribute ng tulong and rescue operations. Madali rin iplano kung paano, kung sino at kung saan dadaan papunta. Ano yan, both for during disasters and sa aftermath kung kinakailangan. And from the dashboard, pwede rin silang mag-issue ng warning, no? So depende sa location. For example, sa location natin sa Quezon City may flooding, no? So dun sa location na yun, lahat ng users na meron doon ay makaka-receive ng text blast na kung saan na early wina-warn yung users na merong flooding doon sa area nila. So, yung warning na yun ay for registered users. So, next.
Hello, rinig po ba?
Yes,
Hello.
yes.
Okay. To further visualize po yung sinabi ni Pam from the mobile app and the web app, we're going to present a demo of both the mobile app and the dashboard. Next slide, please. So for our mobile app, as you can see on your screen, meron po tayo login feature. So the user has the ability to log in via Facebook or their Google or maybe after sign up from the app itself, meron na siyang pwede na sign in si user gamit yung mismong app. Then as you can see then, okay, sorry, medyo mabilis yung demo but we'll just loop the video itself. Pagka-open ni user ng mobile app, there's window na nagsasabi na we're going to use your location since very important for privacy purposes na parang we're going to notify the user that we're going to use their location since that's the main purpose ng app is to get the location of the user if they're going to use the service itself. Tapos later on, since there's an early warning system, so from the web app itself, pag meron mga other users na nag-report, si user itself via the mobile app, mano-notify sila if may malapit na emergency from them, so they'd know. So after nun, pag nakita niyo yung main dashboard, makikita agad nakapin agad yung location ni user. Then yung 6 emergencies which are fire, flood, earthquake, and yun, the rest, pwede siyang i-click na lang ni user since for simplicity wise ng mobile app, since of course you have to see yung user itself na if ever pag may emergency, syempre nagpapanik siya agad. So that's also one of the main parang brainstorm session when we were developing the design of the app itself, na dapat yung simplicity ng mobile app should be in line with how the people is going to use the app itself. So ayun, dapat mga 2 to 3 clicks lang so that para excuse me, para mabilis na siya makapag-report agad. And from then on, makikita niya rin like same with the Grab or other shopping na apps like Lazada, yun, we'd also like to integrate that na para makikita ni user kung nasaan na yung help. So yun. Next slide, please. Yeah. So yun, for the dashboard naman, ito naman, as mentioned din ni Pam and ni Gelson a while ago, ito yung sa mismong DRR side of things. So yun, since may nag-report nga via the mobile app, si DRR operator or officer rather would be able to know kung saan yung mga reports na natag. So pag nakita na yun ni officer itself, makikita niya, pwede siya mag-send ng status from the dispatch itself kung nasaan yung mismong emergency. At the same time, they would also alert other people who has their app na kung may malapit na emergency dito. So yun yung parang other complementary or like rather complementing feature app na masisense ni user na okay, merong emergency dito sa place na to and malapit din sa akin. So ayun po. Next slide please. For the next slide, we're going to present our video, which is the featured video from the Galileo hackathons during the award ceremony. So ayun po.
Philippines. When we think of the Philippines, we often think of this, these, or this. They're all true. But sometimes we forget that it can be like this, these too. The list seems to go on. So, what do we do? What can we do?
In an era where phones and the internet may make a difference, what can be the change? How do we feel safe? Or in our language, ligtas. Presented at the Galileo Hackathons, we give you Ligtas, Location Integrated Geological Hazard Tracking and Action System. Ligtas is a location-based disaster reporting and response system utilizing mobile GNSS and WebGIS technologies. Users may report SOS manually and can track dispatch assigned to them. Users can also automatically get early warning messages even without making the report by themselves. The dashboard can be spatially accessed by a DRRM response authority and notify users whether they are at risk, affected, or severely affected. Getting help shouldn't be hard. Tap your way now to safety.
Ayun, thank you. Thank you for that. So, ito yung people behind the Ligtas team. So, 8 kami. Anong commons sa amin? Lahat kami produkto ng department. Yan. So, may kanya-kanyang diyan, may kanya-kanya kaming role, no? So, mahalaga 'yun kasi yung diversity ng skills ay gamit na gamit. So, halimbawa si Ilka, siya yung nag-design ng UI, which means siya yung nag-design ng mga itsura ng app, itsura ng dashboard, ganun. And then si Kit naman yung sa creatives, so siya yung gumawa ng mga pubs, mga video, ganyan. And then kaming tatlo ni Caitlin tsaka ni Dom, mobile app developer. So kami yung nag-program, ganun, nung sample na application for the phone. Si Bam Hilario naman, siya yung research about dun sa market, kung paano i-market yung product na Ligtas. And then sila Gilson and Pam naman, sila naman yung nag-develop nung sa dashboard. So ayun, it would not have been possible for kung walang sacrifice from everyone. Isipin mo may lahat na yan, may trabaho, tas napasok pa rin sa schedule to. Parang talaga. Ang nagpagana dito is yung teamwork at saka yung sacrifice ng bawat isa. So malaki yung pasasalamat ko dito sa mga taong to. Tapos ayun, isipin mo kasi yung iba diyan, may pa yan, may meeting pa during nung weekend mismo na kasi 2 days lang yung binigay sa hackathon na to parang sobrang gipit nun. Kung magde-dev ka at ka, iisipin mo lahat ng concepts. Talaga yun, gipit talaga yun sa oras. Kaya yun talaga, kailangan focus. Yan. Tapos, yun. So yung kanya-kanyang role, kailangan gawin mo para mas mapabilis yung process ng buong project. And then, next slide please. Ayun, hard work pays off, sabi nga nila. So yun, na ano kami, during nung awarding ceremony, yung iba sa amin nga may meeting pa. So nakikibalita na lang. Pero yun, thankfully, isa kami sa mga nanalo. So yan, second place, 1K euros. Tapos ayun, very thankful din kami dun sa team at saka syempre dun sa dedication na pinakita. So yung isa sa mga natutunan namin dito is dapat kung may problem, so 'di ba in-state kasi nung Galileo yung problem, no? Dapat yung solution mo should be direct, tsaka dapat may kahit sobrang simple lang. Actually medyo simple lang yung application pero kung titignan mo yung impact niya kung ginawa mo malaki. So yun yung mahalaga actually dun It doesn't matter kung gaano ka complicated yung system or na basta yung solution mo is parang may impact. So yung ligtas kasi we think na siya, very magiging viable siya lalo na sa Pilipinas. Yun nga, ang dami kasing disaster talaga, 'di ba? Tapos isipin mo yun, yung normal na tao, like kung nag-report siya ng emergency ganto ganyan. Tapos yung dashboard makikita agad ng LGU na may nag-pop up dito sa location na to at this exact time, real time. Tapos pwede silang agad mag-respond. Isipin mo kung gaano ka laki yung impact nun. 'Di ba? Like pwede silang makita agad, maka-respond agad, 'di ba? Simple lang yung application Like may location ka lang, may description ka lang onte ganyan. Pero yung impact niya is massive. So feeling ko yun yung isa sa mga factor ba't kami nakakuha ng award din. Tapos yun, basically yun yung ginawa namin. Nag-develop kami ng mobile app, ng dashboard, ganyan. Yun. Oh, okay. Tas next slide, please. Yun. So, ayun, again, that is Project Ligtas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Team Ligtas, for your presentation. So if you have any questions, you can chat or you can raise your hand so we can acknowledge. Any questions from the crowd? Siguro, a question from sa akin, from me. Probably there would be some issues doon on the preventing false notifications or false pinning of disaster, like perhaps there will be some trolls or even they are registered. So how would you address those problems?
Hello
Hello?
po, I'll answer.
Ay, sige.
Sige do. Okay.
Ayan. Hi, so I think dun okay, so I would be speaking in English for the benefit of those who understand English more. So I think that's where the system of the Masdan, the Ligtas dashboard comes into play. It serves as a verification tool for the reports which are being sent through the mobile application. It would also be nice to know, since these are geological hazards and these are not just any types of crimes. So usually the advantage of reporting geological hazards is that there is a possibility of redundancy. In Tagalog, they would say na kung mas madami yung nag-report, there's a higher chance that it's true. In English, that means the more people who report about a certain issue or a certain hazard occurring in their place. So if example, you and I would be reporting about a flood happening near the university, then that could be an indicator for us to show that, oh, there's something going on here. Let's look about it. It's not a panacea that it catches all, but it could serve as a support tool also for them to validate it on the ground. I think in addition to this, Mr. Narciso also has a follow-up.
Yeah. Aside from what Mr. Dominic Vargas have explained, we've also added a feature. Supposedly, in the system design, we've added a feature that would allow the responders to verify our reports. So basically, the process is when people report to the dashboard, this these reports are not automatically treated as verified reports. Rather, this is especially for the case of isolated reports um, like during landslide events. Landslide events are not automatically redundant when it comes to reports. There are cases when there's only a single person can be affected of a landslide. So if that would be the case, the affected person can send a report to the LGU, to the DRM responders, and the responders will be able to validate or verify through either through call or through Galileo's technology of communication. So we also have that in our system, but I think we were not able to demonstrate it since we just focus on the data acquisition and the visualization of the data.
So thank you for your answer. So there are a few questions from the chat. So one question here is asking about if the app is in use actually now, or if the actual app and devices for both Team PISDA and Team Ligtas were made, or are they still in the proposal stage? Or if ever they are in proposal stage, do you have any plans for extending it or probably proposing it to a government agency?
I think I will be the one na lang to answer this question. So
Yes,
for
go ahead.
the scope of Ligtas, in the scope of in the context of the hackathon, we actually developed already the basic APK version, but it's not deployed in the App Store, in the Play Store yet. So we just sent it as a proof of concept, an additional proof of concept for the hackathon. So the basic features are there, but of course, development is a cycle. It's not a top-down approach. We go through development, and then we go through testing, then revision. Then it's a cycle. It goes around. So I think in the context of the development and the deployment, so there are things that we would still have to adjust and revise based on, of course, the needs of the people who use it. Of course, we create the app for the people because they use the application. But of course, for the context also of have we proposed it? We haven't been in communication currently with some agencies or some projects, but of course we're open to collaborations and communication with different organizations and associations who would want to adopt the system. Or if ever there are also projects within the department or people watching here in the Zoom meeting, then we would be very glad to also communicate and collaborate with you. I think there's also a question, Sir Bian, and I apologize, but I would be reading the question from
Yes,
Miss
please, go ahead.
Cristil Jude Verano. Hello po. Question rin po, gagana po ba yung app offline? Paano po sa mga areas na brownout? Lalo po sa province, pag walang kuryente, wala rin wifi, and minsan po wala rin signal for data. I would just be translating this very quickly in English. I think the question is about the offline accessibility of the application, knowing that in the Philippines, we're not that internet capable. This is where the Galileo technologies come into play. They have their beacons, so we use the satellite systems to supplement what do you call this? The technologies and the limitations provided by the lack of internet. We also want to introduce a concept of toll-free numbers for texting so that even though you don't have load, you could be able to use the application. However, of course, the dashboard, the other component of Ligtas is the dashboard, which is accessible by the rescuers and the local government units. So this is a web application, so it would require internet. But since this is in the command center, I think this is another scope. But for the application, we want it as much as possible to be inclusive for everyone. Ayan, mukhang may, I think there's a comment from Dr. Sarmiento suggesting that we could adopt it as a module under Project Lungsod. Let's see po, hopefully.
So, thank you, Dom, for your answer. Probably we can have some questions if you have questions. Actually, I'm just interested on the business model kasi
Actually, ay
yes.
sige po sir. Actually, we
Unlike
have
the PISDA, they have presented they have actually a clear business model on how you get the financing of the buoys or etc. But
Okay.
for Ligtas, maybe you can elaborate.
Okay, allow me to just share my screen again. We didn't actually show it anymore, our business model, because of course, the lack of time and what do you call this? So I'll just be sharing my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so we actually have already the basic costing for our application. We have of course, the people who would be manning the services, the maintenance and the operating expenses. We also have the costings and of course, the sustainability aspect. So how much we would be selling. The mobile application would be free, of course, for everyone. It would be what do you call this? It would be deployed to the Play Stores and the App Stores for free and for download because of course this is for the people. But the dashboard will be employing subscription model for those LGUs who would be using it. Of course, we wanted to keep the cost to a minimum because this is, of course, for the people. It's not based for revenue for business. This is created to as a service for the people. So we have our what do you call this? We have our costings already. We have of course, the developer accounts, the website domain names, the servers that we would be using. So we're using a 2-year business model here as an initial project, if ever it could be, of course, applied for the grants in aid by, of course, maybe DOST or whatever. We have publications and licensing, social media productions, communication expenses, and in total for the inflow, for the revenue aspect, we would be selling it at around $125,000. So we target to at least, if we could cater to at least 5 cities, then we would have already the return of cost, not return of investment, but the return of cost. Of course, if we could cater to more cities, then that would be already to improve the system more.
Okay. Thank you, Dom. So actually, these types of applications are very useful. So if ever this becomes a reality, it's very important for the users also to install. So how would you make it to so that the users or the community would really install, or would you just put that aspect on the local government side?
Thank you for that, Sir Ben. Actually, that's a very great question. We've looked at different studies, and a good trivia to know is that usually around between 2 weeks, there's a 2-week period where if you don't use the app, around 83% of the time you uninstall it. Diba? So we would like to also think about the sustainability aspect, and we want to ensure that the people keep it in their phones because of course it's for them. So of course, this is where the social media comes into play. It's also how we could show the people how we would like to use it. There are also trends nowadays where they include gamification features for the app. They add badges, they add referrals, they add tokens for you to use the app. It's something that is not in our presentation for today, but it's something that we could look at. Like for example, Ligtas could also have the bayanihan component, what if you don't want to um, make the app only reporting on your issues? You could also report for a friend, diba? We could add the bayanihan component and we could earn badges and tokens for, being a good citizen and trying to help other people as well. So these are things we could use. And of course, in return, you get rewarded or recognized for your good deeds.
Actually, this is a nice conversation that we get to join our ideas in furthering or improving your idea or your main Ligtas app. So thank you very much for Team Ligtas for your presentation. If you have more questions, you can direct them to the team. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
So please just wait. I'll just share my screen. So thank you very much, Team Ligtas. We will present the certificate of recognition to Dominic Vargas Jr., to Wilson Andre Narciso, Keith Ann Cabello, John Emmanuel Escoto, Caitlin Panlilio, Lauren Hilario, Pamela Ann Todok, and Gwyneth Angelica Rufino for sharing his and or her experiences and ideas in the department seminar GNSS application for SDG as a speaker, given this 23rd day of February 2022 at College of Engineering, UP Diliman. So signed by the department chair, Sir Jack Sarmiento. So thank you very much for both teams for your inspiring presentations. So as a last request, may I ask you to open your camera so we can have a short photo opportunity. So for the students of Sir Dom, and he said that don't forget to take a screenshot. So maybe this screenshot also can help you in having your incentives. So, okay, please get ready. I will take the screenshot. Okay, 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, next page. So just keep smiling, guys. 3, 2, 1. And last page. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so thank you very much for attending our department seminar. So I would like to invite you to the next department seminar, probably on April. So let's just wait for further announcements. And have a good morning, everyone, and thank you.
Thank you very much po.